Today we have Ashwin Rao.
Lot
What
of
is that
them.
one component that excited you the most?
It's an empty piece of land. And on paper, you draw, you conceptualize the whole 3D. It used to be a very predictable cycles. A 5-year cycle, it's like a clock which goes up and goes down. Even the entire country was doing well. Hyderabad was extremely low. I mean, you can't imagine how low it could be. There's a saying in Telugu, a boom in Namukunnadu eppudu mosapolevaru. 10 years back, it will sound very funny if I tell you now how many numbers we used to build. Those 10 apartments, 20 apartment buildings were like a big thing. And you are the 5th or 6th largest prosperous city in this country. You're bound to be expensive. But having said that, Hyderabad is still affordable. If someone has built illegally, do you think a normal buyer will go occupy lake beds and construct without permission? You can't punish a buyer for that. You should punish someone who made it happen. Huge companies are coming from other parts of the world to invest in you. Obviously, they're seeing something good in you to come here. But there's a method to the madness.
Today we have Ashwin Rao, who has been in the industry, real estate industry, for more than 25 years, but also has done journalism. It's a very interesting journey that you have, and I would like to know more. How did this transition happen from journalism to real estate?
Even more like an accident,
Okay.
not by a career choice. Journalism I wanted to do because I was very interested and passionate to do journalism, and more so advertising and communications.
Okay.
So did my course graduation from Osman University. Briefly worked for a agency and briefly interned for a newspapers. But what fate accomplished, you ended up in real estate, more so because my family, many of my family members were there in the industry, and more so by accident. But once I got in, I extremely got attracted to the whole journey of the business. So realized it is very exciting. I was very young, I was just, in fact, I'm surprised how young I got in. And
You had mentioned you were 23. That's very young.
correct.
To make a shift, actually decided to make a shift,
Correct.
right? Yeah.
And it was not a shift, not only into industry, but it was a shift to become an entrepreneur because all I wanted to do was just work in a newspaper or some agency. So shift from being a working class professional to become an entrepreneur, that to first generation. So
Right.
we didn't have a history of my family being there.
Okay.
So it was very exciting.
What is that one component that excited you the most?
I think the biggest thing which excited me was in this business of what you design. Usually it's building. It's like your baby. So you give birth to it. You design it. You design on paper. It's an empty piece of land, and on paper you draw a drawing of a building. Then you conceptualize the whole 3D or how to look like. You'll visualize it and how it look like after you build it. And then you get about going into the engineering part of it, the whole concept of whole structural engineering, how you'll design the whole thing, and you'll get involved with so many brilliant people who design it. And finally, when you have everything on paper and you'll get down to the brass tacks of the ground, right from digging a pit for foundations. Every day I go to site, I used to see it growing up. It's building, and it's right in front of your eyes, whole thing coming up. It is really, really exciting for me when I whole thing till you finish it.
Yeah.
I think the most satisfying thing I can say this on behalf of all the builder and communities. It's one of the most satisfying things for you is when you actually from conception to finishing it, and when you see in front of your eyes, you eventually do all your projects. It's a very satisfying experience. On the other hand, you're actually selling this to your client, and the client comes in with so much of expectations and aspirations when he is buying it, and the kind of questions he asks you, how you answer them, how you satisfy them. And home is not a very impersonal buy, it's a very personal buy.
I think it's part of our Indian culture, right? Like everybody is involved in this decision. It's a more emotional buy than just a transactional
Exactly.
buy. Yeah.
It's an emotional buy. So that's why I keep telling my builder friends, it's extreme. That's what has been taught to me by my boss when I started. And he said, you know what, it's more than a transaction. It's not a client. He's a client who's investing his entire life savings in the hands of a stranger whom we just met, and you're hoping that that gentleman delivers. It's a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
Responsible. So not just a transaction, you're taken upon a lot of responsibility. You should not only deliver, but also along with delivery, I think you should be very sensitive about it.
In the last 25 years, there must be a lot of ups and downs the industry must have seen. What are your observations in terms of the journey that you've had in the market, in 2000, say, during the 2017 and now, right? And also before that, if you could just give us the gist you've seen of ups and downs that we've had in the industry, and how has the market reacted to it?
Unlike any other industry, uh, real estate is a very cyclical market. So it used to be a very predictable cycles, basically, more or less. If you actually notice, if you've been long in the industry, if you're there, the cycles are fairly predictable. I would put it that. Even now also, if you have what we could say, one of the key indicators of prediction is for me in India it's a 5-year cycle.
Okay.
And typically a 5-year cycle of industry, which it's like a clock which goes up and goes down, which any industry does. And the going down period usually culminates and connects to the election period.
Okay.
So every 5 years we have an election.
Yeah.
So, and earlier it used to be central election, later it, when, and used to be a state election. So typically election period is where the whole cycle comes down. Because by then, the beginning of the term of a government, even the government is speaking and you're doing great things and great aspirations. So the market follows the government's trend. And by the end of 5 years, we would have peaked when government is speaking with its policies. So we would have also peaked with it. And as we go down, many factors, while we approaching election, it's a wait and watch policy. So suddenly we are all waiting. There's election fever, 6 months, 8 months before the elections. There's a lot of campaigning happening. So all typically investors go into a wait and watch mode. That's when the market correction also happens.
Okay.
Yes. And people wait for the new government to set in. Then even after a new government is set in, there will become aspirations of you all expecting some government to come. So if a popular government comes in, the market again kicks off. Okay. And a government comes against your expectations, then market still will be slow for a few months, but then through a natural phenomenon it picks up, and again it gets into a 5-year cycle. This used to be a typical cycle for any real estate markets over the years. But there are some extreme circumstances, which unfortunately the state of Hyderabad, the state of Telangana has faced. So 2006, 2007, if I don't know of how many of you remember, there was a global crisis. So when the Lehman Brothers collapsed and there was an economic meltdown of internationally. But surprisingly, India's story was better. The markets in India bounced back really quickly from that crisis, which the world didn't, but India, and it did extremely well. In the next 5 years, the entire real estate market in the country did very, very well from 2007 onwards, after a brief lull of a year. But that was not the case of Hyderabad, because Hyderabad was going through, then there was combined Andhra Pradesh, and we were going to the Telangana agitation. It's a political agitation, but it's a local problem.
Yeah.
So Hyderabad was directly linked to that agitation. So every day, if you open a newspaper, there's huge agitation, strikes, and so on and so forth. So obviously the investor sentiment was so low. So it was a unique local problem. Even the entire country was doing well. Hyderabad was extremely low. I mean, you can't imagine how low it could be. The markets. Extremely low, not for 1 year, not for 2 years, for more than 5 years. So there's no market which stays down for one single reason. When the entire country is doing well, Hyderabad was extremely low for more than 5 years. Even after 5 years, a new government came, the state got divided, then there's a lot of apprehension that, what will happen after the state got divided, then there's a wait and watch. It took another 2 years. So you're talking about 7 years of market being low. So that was...
And this was which year?
This
Between
was
which year?
which one? There's some 2017 to 2015, 2016. That was the scenario. And Our markets have and developers have seen the worst ever times, especially people in those times. I mean, we are all through it.
So 2000 to 2017, I think
Correct.
you're saying.
Correct.
Okay, that's a long period to.
There's a long
Yeah.
period to sustain.
A lot of people don't know that. People, the younger ones now know there's a boom and all, but it's important to know the history or the journey, at least for the last 20 years that we've had or more, right? But why should one invest in real estate when you have other options like gold or stock?
There are multiple reasons. You might call it asset classes, So now we will all categorize any investor pundits will tell you if you watch YouTube or read a paper, so they'll tell you to invest into so and so different asset classes. Real estate has always been the favorite asset class of Indians per se. Reason being, it's an asset class where you can see your property, you can feel the property, you can enjoy the property personally, you can live in the property and traditionally it is imbibed in you.
Yeah, I think it's gone through a day.
Yes. Every morning, some point of the time or other from your childhood, someone would have been telling you that, you invest in a house, you invest in a plot, you buy a house, first thing you do if you earn money, you set aside, you would have seen your parents setting aside money to buy their first home, or you would have remembered you're moving into your first home with your parents and so on and so forth. So, and they'll keep telling you that, even after you got your first job, your parents would have been telling you to invest into real estate. So it gets into your system that you should invest in land. And also remember, we are a country with more than almost 1.2 billion people. So one of the first things we want is a piece of land or piece of house to sit on it. Basically, we want our own place. So we're not huge countries with land. We are actually, in terms of land, a lot of people, smaller country. If you have, in terms of proportion is concerned. As an asset class, historically, it has saved you in real estate investment, has created or saved you or helped you in succeeding in many milestones. Many of us, our parents or elder, they'll vouch for it that they would have sold the property and got their daughter's wedding, or they have sold their property and send their children abroad for education. So it has created a lot of helped create a lot of big milestones in our life, basically. So there's a saying in Telugu, booming namakunnode eppudu mosapoledani. So nobody has. It's all lost cause if you have trust in land. It is imbibed in us. So it's always saved us. So I think in terms of asset classes and also the education. See, if I have to invest in stocks, I should have that kind of a knowledge or ability to understand that asset class in stock market to invest in it. Even if I have to put 50,000 rupees into a certain company, I would have to read about it, I would have to know about it. So how many people in our country can do that? Not many can do that. Real estate it's a no-brainer, Anybody can around you advise you how to go about it. Historically, there's always a transaction in the house where someone has done it, we will advise you how to go about it. Not in the case of stocks. And coming to gold, how much gold can you buy? So you can't buy gold in tons, you will not. So, and you can't stock. So it's like that. So gold, even though it's it's one of the most popular buy in our country, but not as an asset class. You buy it for other reasons. You buy it for ornaments, you buy it to use, you buy it to present, to gift to our kith and kin, but not as an asset class in our country. So I think it is and will be land and building will be the most favorite investment tools.
People are more than the land that we have, right? And we've been talking about in the recent past about supply being more than the demand currently. So how does that justify against what we've just spoken about, right? Like population is actually more than the land that we have.
You should realize, Megha, that the only thing you cannot manufacture is land.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rest all can get manufactured.
Yeah. Yeah.
So people will keep growing, population will grow, it will not stop. And anything you are buying now can be manufactured. We can't manufacture land.
Yeah.
It is only, it's Like, it's only finite. It's not
Yeah,
infinite.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Having said that, what you're talking about, that exactly what you said the right thing. Now there's a surplus of stock. Is
Yeah.
not what you're buying.
Hmm.
There will never be a surplus as long as you're going ahead.
Hmm.
It is a very temporary phenomenon of being excess stock or in demand, or you have less stock. It will never ever. If I tell you a story about what kind of apartments or what kind of numbers we used to build 10 years back, forget about 20 years back. People won't even believe what I'm talking. Even 10 years back, it will sound very funny if I tell you now how many numbers we used to build. If we buy those 10 apartments, 20 apartment buildings were like a big thing, even 10 years back. Now you are seeing 1,000 apartments in each complex, and they're getting sold out. See, in our country, we buy an apartment to stay. It's
Right.
end use buy.
Yeah, yeah.
90%, if it's not 90%, 80% of our buys into houses, homes are end use. So we buy to stay. So it is never ever surplus. If it is a surplus, it's a temporary phenomenon.
Okay.
And who can tell how much to build? Where is the number? How much of our data you may collect? How does someone know that how many people are aspiring for houses and how much should a builder build? So there'll always be that certain amount of surplus in the
And I think,
market.
and everyone is always aspiring to buy. I mean, there's never a day, if you ask me, I will never say that I don't want to buy a land or I don't want to buy an apartment.
Exactly. If you're not buying today, is because you already have a home,
Yeah.
or you cannot afford a certain home, or something else. But there will never be a situation where you will say, I don't want a home.
Yeah.
So you would have bought a 2 bedroom, 2 BHK a few years back. But you don't want to invest anymore. But you got married, then you have children, then you're
Upgrade.
aspiring for an upgrade. So that itself is change of your perspective again.
And depends on what phase you are in life.
What phase you're in
Yeah.
life? Yes.
That's it.
It's a never-ending story. That's why I'm saying land is never enough. This will keep on growing. Now, if you're seeing a city grow, now you'll see other cities grow. It is never, and the new cities come up. You never know.
I mean, Hyderabad was much smaller than it is today, right?
Exactly. We don't go from one end of the town to. I used to hear about Bangalore 10 years back. There's a guy sitting in Whitefields, never goes to the northern part of the city.
Yeah.
Even in for 6 months together.
Yeah.
I used to wonder how that happens. How can you not go to meet one friend, says I never met him because he's in the other part of town for months. So, but Hyderabad has become that. How many of us have traveled? We are just in that micro market. We're just staying. Whoever stays in Nalaganla will stay there and around. Whoever stays in Gachibowli stays on. That's it. They don't move. That's how it's going to be. Cities are the next big thing. They're going to go so big that it's a life by itself. It'll never end. If people are thinking it's going to stop, it will not.
I would also want to touch the point of the prices, right? I think the prices are at least 10 years ago, and for it to compare it to now, the appreciation factor is very high. For example, today, you need to have at least 80 lakhs to a lakh and a half to buy a decent apartment, I would say, right? Which wasn't the case before. You could do that with 30 lakhs. It was a good amount to have for investment. So what is your take on that?
Now you should tell me, is appreciation good or bad?
It's good, but what I'm referring to is so much of a jump in a short period of time.
Let's all agree that appreciation is good for anything.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So your real estate or building or a home is an asset class.
Yeah.
If for someone who's already invested, it's a good news.
Right.
Okay. Someone who's aspiring to invest, he says it's too much for me to do it because it's. So what is not good? I agree with you. Is appreciation should be very steady. It should be methodical.
Yeah.
It should be the progress should. But Hyderabad has gone through a churn. Okay, so it's again there's a history behind it. Now, in the last 7-8 years, you've seen a huge surge in the whole market. Colloquially, you might call it the boom period and so on and so forth. That's why it becomes so expensive. Now it's become unaffordable. That's what you're trying to say. It's for someone young, looks to be very unaffordable.
Yeah.
I'll just take you back to what I told you previously. In 7 years, when the whole country was doing extremely well, there's a boom across the country in real estate. Hyderabad was in the pits, it was in its lowest point,
You're talking about the 7-year period.
7-year periods. So there was a lot of pent up demand, because not that people didn't have money. People had their jobs. Nobody lost their jobs. People had their jobs. They had the money coming in. They put it in banks. They went to small investment. They went to other cities and did it. But people who wanted to live here had the money in hand, but they didn't invest, waiting for that good day to come. So, but there's a lot of pent up demand and pent up wealth accumulated, which had to be invested in the city. So when things looked up in something in 2016 and 17, it took off and it started growing. That's when now if you see the cycles of the country, Hyderabad is always the reverse of what the country does. So across all of the markets in our country, when they're going up, Hyderabad is going down, and the other it's vice versa. So Hyderabad had a continuous bull run of almost 7 years in the last 7 years. So I think no market in this entire country till now can say that in 7 years they had a bull run in real estate. Hyderabad had it, but multiple reasons. One is, I think the major reason was that there's a pent up demand. Second reason is there was a long stable government for 10 years that helped, and it was very industry friendly. Then there's so many other factors which created Hyderabad what it is created with today. It's considered one of the most business friendly atmospheres to invest your money in.
Right.
So 10 years back, like you said, it was like 30 lakhs. Why is it not today? 10 years back, what you see of Hyderabad or the city is not the same city today.
That's right. Yeah.
So 10 years back, we were an aspiring city. We were used to talk about we should compete with Bangalore. Now the Hyderabad is talking about we are on par with Bangalore, or we have beaten Bangalore. That's the language you are speaking now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not an aspiring poor cousin. You're a big boy right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you are a big boy and you are the 5th or 6th largest prosperous city in this country, you're bound to be expensive. You're not bound to be still cheap. So I think that's a quantum shift in the market itself. And that's something we should all accept.
So do you feel it's a good shift, or will there be a correction that will happen now?
If you ask me, see, it is a good shift in the sense you are now the biggest city in this country. You are attracting the best of class investments. If someone is looking at India to invest, you are in the top 4, top 3. Right. That's a great thing to have. So that's because we're not just looking at real estate, right?
Yeah.
You're looking at employment.
Yeah.
You're looking at wealth for all of us. Okay, real estate is only one part of it.
That's right.
Okay, we want jobs first. Okay, so real estate is an offshoot of all that. So in that sense, I think that's what I want Hyderabad always to be. But coming back to real estate, see, sitting in Bombay, can a young 25-year-old say that, I'm not able, in Bombay, can I afford an apartment in Bombay and crib about it? He can't.
We can't, yeah.
Many people, it's a given that in Bombay you can't even buy. In their lifetimes, they cannot buy.
Yeah.
So these are some sad truths which you have to accept in big cities. But having said that, Hyderabad is still affordable. It's just that you just can't think of thinking that, just 5 years back, it was the 30-40 lakhs in Kokapet. I still want in Kokapet,
Yeah.
You have to think in...
So you will have to think with the market.
With the market. Yes.
Scenario right now.
And what helps Hyderabad's case is, it is gifted with great infrastructure. You can quickly move to a few kilometers away on a great road and still buy it affordably.
Right.
Why are you just looking at Kokapet? 15 minutes from Kokapet, 20 minutes from Kokapet, you have so many places where you can buy it at half the price.
I think we have great connectivity.
Yeah. You have an 8-lane road going across the places. Which city has it? So you can go to any micro markets like Kollu or Patancheru or Shamshabad. You can just go buy it at half the price. You're just 15, 20, 30 minutes away. That's not a bad deal at all. And so that's why I'm saying, if you're thinking that it is peaked and looking for a correction, I don't think it's going to happen.
A lot of people, this is also out of my personal experience. I did buy a plot for investment. And in a lot of cases, what happens is it always becomes difficult to resale because it turns into a jungle over a period of time. When you buy, it's all pretty, it's nice, it's laid out. But just in a few years, when you're ready to resell and move on, it's difficult. right? And why do you think that happens?
It's a very extremely common problem, especially when you're investing in plots or residential plots or farm plots.
Yeah.
The answer is extremely simple. You're invested one of your biggest savings into an asset class.
Yeah.
And what have you done after that? You invest to buy a car.
Yeah.
Much, much more cheaper than a plot. Correct?
That's right. Yeah.
You invest into a nice gadget. We all know that we buy a gadget and it'll come with maintenance.
Yes.
We buy a car, it comes with maintenance. We spend for the maintenance. We send the car for
Servicing.
and so on and so forth. So I think you got the gist of it.
Yeah, I didn't think of it that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if it's a plot, it's a land. If you leave it open, it will become a jungle. If nobody's doing anything about it. Okay. You are invested in a house. Since you're living there, you're paying maintenance. You're getting someone to clean the entire premises, maintain the building, maintain the facilities, everything. You're invested into a piece of land, which is one of your biggest investments you've done with hard-earned money, your own money.
Yeah.
But you're not bothered to think about how the land or your investment is going to be maintained. It's end of the day, it's a community, right? It's a road, it's a plot, it's a park. What is the park have? Parks are plants. But don't you think someone has to take care of a plant every day? So there's a road, so someone has to sweep the road every day. Your investment has to be maintained too. And that's your biggest investment you're doing.
Yeah.
So you should, when you're thinking about investing into a plot, also set aside what you need to pay annually, monthly for the maintenance of it. You as well as all plot owners, or when you're talking to a builder, ask for it. As you ask for a home buy, or what is the maintenance after this? So the same way you ask, what's the plan for maintenance of the plot?
But is that commonly provided?
It is commonly provided now with all good developers.
Okay.
All good developers actually, like, they charge maintenance for an apartment. They collect maintenance. I'll put this. They collect maintenance and make sure there's a team which maintains it. All good developers do. At least the good developers, they collect maintenance. They make sure it's maintained. And historically, we have seen whichever property which is maintained well has grown exponentially well. So those properties just not maintained well, forget about not growing. They fall into the category of not getting sold at all.
Right.
Land doesn't go anywhere. Land will be land. So just the facility which is built has to be maintained. So I think that's the simple long and short of it.
Okay. So how, as a buyer, I make sure even after I buy, it's going to be maintained. Although they might say, okay, we'll provide you certain things, right? Is there a regulation where I can go back and complain to, like RERA, like how we have RERA now, right?
So now you are asking two things. One is, as a developer, I've taken the right permissions.
Yeah.
As agreed with you, I fulfilled all my obligations. I developed the property. I handed the property to you.
Yeah.
My job is done. Does the regulation say that I'll maintain the property all your life? It doesn't say that, no? Okay.
Right.
Then whose responsibility of maintaining the property is whose?
Ours.
It's ours. So you go take a Sunday out every month and go see the property. Okay. Make sure the watchman is around. Make sure you have a watchman in place in the first place. Okay. And make sure you make an effort to all the plot owners. There's a plot owners association is there. You make sure you attend those meetings. It's easy, nowadays the WhatsApp groups and all that. You make sure firstly to pay the maintenance. When it comes to especially this plot, my biggest pet peeve against all plot owners, they come back and ask this question that, it become wild. Someone has stolen the gate. Someone has plot markings are gone. We can't find a plot. But you're going there after 10 years. You just bought the plot and not even bothered to go back. I'm sure there's the owners association. I'm sure that, all of you contribute very small amounts. The whole property will be maintained well. Most good developers understand that plot owners per se do not show interest in maintaining a property where they don't live there. Okay. So what we do as a practice is understanding that psychology. We collect maintenance ahead. For example, in my projects, I collect maintenance 2 years. So I collect 2 years of maintenance ahead.
Okay.
And we make sure we put a maintenance team there which maintains the property totally. then within 2 years, you'll see the benefit of it being maintained well. You would have seen a lot of appreciation there. Then next time around, when you have to pay maintenance for it, you don't go back. You feel happy to give the money.
Got it.
Yes.
So as a buyer, if I specific to plots, right, since we're talking about it, what is the checklist that I need to keep in mind? Are the things that I need to keep in check before buying a plot to make sure that I'm at a happy place when I'm in a position to resale?
When you're looking at a plot, you already like the place. Assuming you did all the right things. Okay, you like the place, you bargain, you met the developer. One of the important things is you should always see the credibility of the builder. It's an exercise which you have to do. So, which you will find out in forums. Now you have a lot of forums.
Right.
So you can online forums, you can find out how he is. Second, you physically go and see what that particular developed has done before. We'll get a fair idea what kind of work they do. Okay. Third, most importantly, I think where we lack right now, I'm only talking again on the customer's point of view, the buyer's point of view. You have to definitely do the legal due diligence yourself. Any developer will give you a set of papers. Take the papers, hire a good legal lawyer, give the papers to him and get it checked. Even now, the most educated buyer I see, he comes with an uncle, he comes with a cousin, he comes with somebody and says, no, with some recommendation. And he just goes by the word of someone else. He says, okay, that my uncle said this developer is good or this so-and-so is good, this property is good, I'll buy it. Or my friend has invested in this property, I'm happy to buy. We are only haggling about that price with the developer, which is few thousands or some more or less, but not actually paying attention to the most important part is the legal due diligence, which is again a buyer's responsibility. There is no moral responsibilities here. See, I'm as a developer, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I would have taken permissions, I would have done all my due diligence. Apart from my word on this, it is your job to do the legal due diligence yourself. Another thing I keep hearing is, oh, this property is approved by banks of so-and-so bank, so it must be legal. If you read the legal fine print of any housing loan, which is extremely surprising, even 90%, 95% of the people, what they don't know is, even if the property falls into any legal issues, you are bound to pay the loan which you have taken. So you can't go back to the bank and say, no, you legally cleared it, it's not my problem. You have legally signed it. So the legality of the property is nothing to do with your loan, what you get from the bank. Bank is done your assumption is that if bank has done legal due diligence, you don't need to do anything. So now we are hearing in the newspapers, government coming and saying that, okay, we have demolished certain building, and the client is saying that no, I got a bank loan, and the banks are clueless. The government is saying that no, they didn't have permission, and bank still gave a loan. Where I'm coming to is, when you are making such a huge investment, which is the real estate investment, please understand, is the biggest investment in your lifetime. You will do it once in a life or twice in a life, not more than that. You don't buy plots every year or houses every second year. You do it once. So there's a humongous responsibility on you to make sure you do your homework yourself.
Yeah, I think we do it for the smallest things, like when we buy a car, when we buy a phone.
Exactly. You see so much research on buying a phone. You do so much research when you're buying, clothes or even cars. So you're buying your lifetime property.
It's a very, very different way of looking at it, not like the traditional way of looking at it, right? I want to go back to the most spoken or discussed topic right now, and we've discussed this quite a bit in our previous episodes as well, about the current market. I want to start on a positive note, not on a negative note. A little bit more on what is our takeaways of what we've seen in the past year, and what do you think is going to happen in the coming year, and do you feel what we faced is because of a negative sentiment and not a reflection of the market as a whole?
I said that it's a cycle. So last year was an election cycle.
Right.
Correct. So we approached an election. We approached an election, so obviously market will be very cautious.
Okay.
market were cautious 6 months, 8 months before they approached the market. Market was also conscious not only because of elections. Markets thought that market has heated up. Prices have gone up, supply is more. There's a slowdown, and they're all on a wait and watch mode because of elections. So now elections are done. We're almost a year now. So now market is still cautious in investment. Now there could be again local problems. So, but after the first 6 months into the past year, it's only my thinking, my observation that market started picking up. The first signs of market picking up is inquiries.
Right.
So people will come, they'll start inquiring. So inquiries will end up in decision making basically. So that's the whole thought. So first they'll inquire, they'll sum it up. They'll take. It's not an easy process, you're buying. So it will take a few months from the first inquiry till actually you close. Even if you have the money in your pocket, it'll take about 3 to 4 to 5 months. Unfortunately, what has happened, I think I saw a previous podcast with other guests. I don't want to dwell into all that, but certain actions of some government agencies has completely left a doubt in the minds of the buyers. Okay. So now even today, I opened the paper. The first news which comes is there's some demolition. So you please remember, again I'm saying, since real estate is an emotional buy, you want your state of mind to be perfectly peaceful. Okay. So your state of mind defines the state of the market. That's the last 6 months story. People, answering your question, people are ready to buy. People, have you have job losses? No. So we have all the industries doing well? Yes. It means that there is income coming in. So where does the income go back into investments? So people are sitting with the money. My clear observation in the last 6 months is they have the money. They're sitting on the money. They're just not able to take a decision because of some certain local actions, which they feel as there's not in a peaceful frame of mind. Here, everybody has to do their jobs, and also, what is the signal you're giving? Your one arm of the government is telling us that other arm of the government is not performed. If someone has built illegally, do you think a normal buyer will go? Occupy lake beds and construct without permissions? Can a normal buyer capable of doing it? Do you think is it possible? It's not possible. If it has happened, it means it has happened with someone watching over it and getting it done. No? So you can't blame a buyer. You can't punish a buyer for that. You should punish someone who made it happen. And let's trust the system also. If system is not in place, I don't think such huge cities will function. All you have to do is do some homework yourself.
While you were saying that, I just had another thought. Just going back to what we discussed earlier about the price suddenly booming in Hyderabad, right? In terms of buyers also, if the prices boom that much, do you think the annual income on an average has also increased? If it hasn't, it's not proportionate to the prices that have gone up, right? So how does that affect the market as well?
It will never be. Okay. Your incomes will never be proportionate historically also.
Okay.
Your incomes will be never been proportionate with what the market happens. It will always be a gap. There will always be. Look back. Even if you go to buy now, even if you have the money to buy, even if you talk to your parents, if you anybody, there always been a gap. Buying a home, buying a property, my cardinal rule is unless you stretch. Those people who are in comfort zones will never ever be able to buy property. Property is bought by only those people who will stretch. You always have to stretch the last mile. You have to make some sacrifices to make sure you buy property. Historically, it's been like that.
Do you feel the gap is bigger now, or is it always been the way it has been?
It's always been the way it is there.
Okay.
You look back at your own career. 10 years, we were talking about what was the price of real estate. Yeah. Were we earning the same money as 10 years back?
No.
So we're all earning more.
Yeah.
So obviously, the property price will be proportionate to your growth. So so I'm probably, you will always feel it's expensive. It is expensive, no doubt. Because real estate, please again remember, it is the most popular form of asset class. So can you imagine the most popular form of any form? Will it be cheap? So everybody in the world wants to invest into that.
Yeah.
It will not come cheap. It will be expensive. Question is affordability. Affordability and cost is the two different things. Affordability is again so many different factors.
Yeah.
How much you earn, how much you. So if you are a decent earning wife and husband today, if two earning members, you still can buy property in this city. You still can, being such a large city, you still can buy because it is gifted with amazing infrastructure where you can buy affordable property around. Surrounded with a lot of land, surrounded with great infrastructure, it's still affordable depending on where you're looking at.
So now to the $1 million question. Is this a good time to buy?
See, you always want to get the best price,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Whatever you want to buy.
Yeah.
Now, you want to, you ask any investor pundits, they'll always ask you to buy at a low, not when they're in a bullish run. Be it stocks, be it real estate, they always want to ask you to buy when the market is low. The decision is, are you waiting for some correction to happen? How do you ascertain what is a low? Who will tell you what is a low? Nobody can tell what is a low. So according to me, the markets are at this price points from the last 2 years.
Right.
Even if you put year-on-year inflation, so that's a minus.
Yeah.
So year-on-year inflation for 2 years, that's it. That's your first discount, correct? And not to mention the potential appreciation for 2 years, which you'll get. The market is stable and in the same price for the last 2 years, and that itself is a reason for you to buy.
Okay.
So we are not hit by a catastrophe. Okay, no war happening in this country.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, it is just a cycle of the market which has reached its potential to stabilize at one point. It has done that. It has had a 7-year bull run, done the whole cycle, came down, settled down, and hanging around there for 2 years now. When do you want to catch the tail? So you want to do it now, or you want to catch when it's going up?
Right.
According to me, this is the best time to buy.
And to invest, what are the regions that you feel are good to invest right now?
Hyderabad is a market which has got markets all four corners.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's the end user market. Depending on where you are, what your budget is. A lot of people ask me very simple question like that: where should I invest? Okay. I said first you should assess in your budget. Okay. Your budget will tell you where you should buy. You should brainstorm, put your mind to it, put a pen on paper and put a figure there. That figure, then put that figure and start doing research. Then the figure will take you to places. So because every place is different now. You know, there's so many micro markets now. So even the west of Hyderabad, which is the most popular, more than 60% of the sales happen in the west of Hyderabad. That the primary reason because most of the IT employment is in this side. So if that is the driver, but even here there's so many micro markets. West of Hyderabad can be Jubilees, it can be Madhapur, Gachibowli, Kokapet, financial district, and Kolur.
Yes.
That's also west of Hyderabad. Mokila is the west of Hyderabad. Shankarpalli is the west. So you can keep on and on. So what will drive you is depending on your budget or where you want to store. If my job is in LB Nagar, why do I want to buy in west of Hyderabad?
Right. Yeah.
So I'll buy in Nagol, I'll buy in Uppal, I'll buy somewhere there.
Yeah.
So your need, your budget, then I always say fix the budget, then start researching on where you want to buy. Then and that region. So I think all the micro markets, and there's a substantial difference in pricing. That's why I said you fix the budget.
And in terms of buying plots, right? A lot of people buy plots. Just recently we had discussed that is it more risky to buy plots in terms of legal issues? Is that true? You know, when you buy plots, the risk of legal issues being higher.
I don't think so. I'll tell you why that's the perception.
Hmm.
Because most of the plot buyers till date get lured into buying illegal plots. Again, I'm alluding back to our earlier discussion.
Yeah. Yeah.
You went ahead and bought panchayat permission plot.
Mm.
So someone said the first thing you asked the developer, do you have a permission? He would have told you, I have a panchayat permission. You didn't bother to check whether panchayat permission is legal or illegal. And you went ahead and bought it. Your assumption is that certain banks have given loan, it is legal.
Mm.
But there's nothing called panchayat permission. If any layouts where government or the HMDA
Mm.
or GHMC, which are the government agencies which are supposed to give permission, have given permission, please go back and check. 99% of this layout, there's no legal problems.
So, as I want to go back to, according to me, a new asset class coming up. We've heard of plots, villas, apartments, but now you have farm plots, which has been there, but I think it's taking its place on a larger scale now. How is that market doing? What do you feel that the whole sustainability projects in the market, how is it performing?
It's a very interesting development in this market, real estate as an industry. It's picked up quickly and also especially post-COVID. COVID has pushed this new asset class into real estate. Basically, it was there always. Actually, it was always there, but people didn't have so much of trust on it earlier because previously, whoever did so-called farm projects, farm plotting, actually did plotting, regular plotting in the name of farm plotting. Okay. They used to do small plots, cut small boxes, put some trees there, and sold it in the name of plantation, teak plantation, sandalwood plantation, so on and so forth, and promised something. And but no sustainability. Sustainability is two kinds of sustainabilities. First is the project itself should sustain. Okay, it should live through the whole life. So when it doesn't survive your purpose, if that sustainability is not there, then the whole purpose is lost.
Then it just becomes a plot.
It becomes some other plot. So, but I bought it like a plot, not just like a plot, but somewhere where I can spend some time there. So, last couple of decades, a lot of people didn't have a great experience in this. So, there never used to be great trust on this. Also, but those were the decades where people are struggling hard to, earn some properties. There are no luxuries. Okay, we all were struggling to earn some basic properties like a plot or a house. Nobody used to think about luxuries. But in the last 2.5 decades, certain amount of affluence is coming.
Yeah.
And we have now fulfilled our basic needs of having a home or having a plot as investment. Now we are looking to indulge in the other sustainability. So where urban life has taken over and we want to be in some peaceful environments and we want to be among nature and we want to relive what we lost as children. Okay, we would have been to our villages, we would have been in farms, we would have experienced that lifestyle, which were lost because of the urban race.
Yeah.
So this is and post-COVID has catapulted that whole phenomenon. So a lot of us who are sitting in big apartments, big houses, big villas, couldn't step out. You couldn't step out of their own homes. So and that actually when it's and the health factor, the mental health, the physical health, and the fact that we need space much more than our confines of a home has hit hard on people during COVID. That's when I think this class of assets, especially farm-based projects, sustainable projects. Sustainability is the other sustainability where, the quality of life.
Yeah.
Not the urban quality of life. The quality of life what nature can give is again become very, very important in our lives. I think that is drawing people to this asset class. It is still a very niche class. It is not a big marketplace. It's a very niche class. people who are very keen about it, very interested in it,
And understand the
understand the whole thing, do come forward.
Yeah.
And likewise, even the developers in this area also are very niche. So and it's a large commitment to do it. It's not an easy thing to do. It should come with a lot of not just ability to develop, but ability to be very passionate about it.
And you feel it has a lot of potential to take that much in terms of market space.
See, it cannot, you cannot compare this
To
asset
the other
class to other
category.
categories.
Okay.
Uh,
Would you rate it as the luxury asset class compared to the other ones?
yeah, you see, firstly, you can't compare it to other classes because of the sheer numbers. You can't do this in thousands and thousands. You can't create sustainable projects in mass. It's not easy. One is, it's not easy to do. Second, it's not as in the face as you can see other projects.
Right.
Okay, and it's a luxury to have it. You know, if someone who has an acre of plot to buy and build his farmhouse or want to enjoy that kind of atmosphere in farm plot, you should be in that state of or stage in your life where you can afford to do it. So that in that sense, it falls into the luxury segment. So we attach luxury to our furniture, to our homes or beautiful homes, to the place we eat.
Things in the house.
Material things.
Yeah.
We are
Yeah.
so this is not that luxury. This is a luxury which this give you luxury of space. It gives you luxury of quality of water,
Life.
quality of life, quality of air. Apart from the other luxuries, it's a great place to stay, great place to live, great place to spend weekends, great place to spend holidays,
Yeah.
wellness.
Yeah.
So this is for those people, I would put it this way, who think that they should invest on themselves. You think that they would not just buy a property to invest, but to enjoy the property themselves.
Right.
This is also for those people who not only will enjoy themselves, but also create that kind of a lifestyle for the children to give. So
Yeah.
in that sense, it's a luxury.
Got it.
So if you fall into that category, it is.
So you spoke about, for our children. My thought is, why not just go on a holiday? Why is that we need to invest in something like this for, say, myself and my daughter?
Now you're also talking about now every year you go on a holiday. Okay. So now you're fighting hard to get that week off. Then for a holiday, family together, booking tickets, flying to airports, changing airports, getting on airports, checking into cabs, moving to some exotic location, staying in a very nice resort. And in a week's holiday, you traveled back and forth 3 days, 4 days. You're actually traveling, you're moving, you're actually working. Okay. At some point, now if you go, it suddenly you realize, I'm sorry, I'm deviating. All the food tastes the same. If you think back, if you're going to the best of class restaurants now, they all taste the same. Why do you come back home and eat your mom's dal chawal? Why do you feel the great happiness in that first few minutes? Why are you not feeling that great satisfaction by going to the best restaurants in town? The moment you take this first spoonful, you'll feel, wow, nothing's happening to you. You're feeling it's a great food because you're sitting in a great setting and paying a big bill to it. So that's what we call soul food, correct? It means that small dal chawal is giving you immense satisfaction. So that's what you are as a human being. Rest is all you're trying to achieve. That as a basic. So we as human beings that's why you see all your holidays are always next to water or next to some nature.
Yeah.
So coming back to as an investment, can you keep taking a holiday year on year, every 6 months? Can you keep doing it? You can't. So if you can afford it, what we are saying is you have an asset which is similar to that, where you need not book flights, you need not travel, you need not worry about food. Just have to tomorrow is a Saturday, a Sunday. Today evening, I just get a thought that I want to go somewhere. I'll just get into a car, get my kids in. I don't need to pack clothes. I don't need to pack cosmetics, nothing. I just need to pack for 2 days, put something in there, just travel only 1.5 hours. That's it. I go to a place which is close to nature, which is clean, which is friendly, which is maintained. It need not be luxury. It need not be the 4-star. We don't crave for a 4-star, 5-star luxury. It's like home food. I am talking about sustainable living. It's like home food. That's an asset class I'm talking about. So that's a luxury people can afford now. So, and that's where we are positioning ourselves.
In the world of where you have 200 units in 1 acre, how sustainable do you think that is with the limited amount of water supply and just other things that come with it? How does that affect your life?
See, it's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. What, in the name of development, what we're doing to the cities, we should learn from mistakes of others always. We should not learn a mistake after it is done. As a city, again, I'm alluding to Bangalore. People buy water throughout the year. I am talking about a city which I used to go to Bangalore like a holiday. If I had to, people used to go there to a city like a holiday.
Yeah.
So that kind of a city now buys water throughout the year.
So it was, I think, one of the greenest cities that we have.
Absolutely one of the greenest cities and one of the most beautiful cities you can ever think of. So that city is in shambles now. Not because it's a cost of development or a very skewed development. I think we all want development. Obviously, we all want development. We all want affluence. But it should see, all the biggest of cities across the world are all developed. But there's a method to the madness. Okay, if companies are coming from huge companies are coming from other parts of the world to invest in you, obviously they're seeing something good in you to come here. But to keep the city sustained is not the job of the private sector. So sustenance is, see, if it's a market driven. Okay, you're telling me, is it good to build 200, 400 apartments in 1 acre? It's not good. Simple reason is, we are all said and done. We are not a rich country. We are still poor in our infrastructure. Because we cannot invest so much in our infrastructure. Okay, so we still have to control ourselves in what we are doing. Otherwise, the kind of water we require, kind of power we require, the kind of infrastructure. Look at the number of cars on the roads. How much Hyderabad boasts about having the biggest roads in the country. It's big if compared to other cities. No city's got such big roads, but they're still not enough. How will they be enough if every house is buying 2 cars? So it can never be enough. So I think at some point, it's a broad discussion. We have to make sure that, for our sake as well as our children's sake, it should be a livable city. End of the day, we'll come back to the same thing. We'll all have great jobs, lot of money, lot of affluence, but we don't have a great quality of life.
Yeah.
Quality of not life, what we drive or what we stay. Quality of life, what air we breathe, and
on a daily basis.
On a daily basis.
Just not the holidays that you go to yet. So what does a sustainability truly mean? It can mean a lot of things to different people, but in your point of view, what is it?
My point of view is that sustainability is what nature has given him free of cost. Nature has given us free light, free air, free water.
And land.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now, what nature has given us free of cost, if we are unable to take it, our design should take it. If we're building a home, our design of the home should take it freely. So we all thrive on that. So all great architects do that. So if you see even from the ancient designs to the modern masters who designed it, all of them design their buildings according to the according to nature.
Hmm.
Okay, so according to me, that is sustainability. So your home's design should be sustainable to that front.
Hmm.
The phenomenon is a urban phenomenon, correct?
Yeah.
You can buy an apartment.
Yeah. Correct.
So when I walk into my apartment, I should be able to open my window, and when I walk in the first 5 minutes, you should tell me that I've got enough light, ventilation, and air freely flowing in. That's it. That, according to me, is sustainability in our urban.
Hmm.
If that is not there, your air-conditioned clubhouses is not sustainability. Okay. Okay, beautiful luxury clubhouses with gyms, and that's all good. That's an amenity which comes with a cost, which anybody can buy. If you don't have a gym in your community, you can go to the nearest gym, pay money, and get it.
Yeah.
You can't buy air, water, and light. So make sure when you're taking a decision in an apartment to buy a home, wherever you're buying, what comes free should be abundant.
Hmm.
That's what you should look in a house. So wherever you're buying, don't get attracted to what money can buy.
Hmm.
Don't get attracted to Italian marble.
Hmm.
If the builder gives it 100 rupee tile, you can change it to 1,000 rupee Italian marble yourself.
Hmm.
That's money you can buy. But if you don't have enough light in your house, nobody can buy that. You'll have to live with it.
Yeah.
Correct? You'll have to live with it all your life. And you have your children and everybody like. So make sure that is abundant. According to me, the first step to sustainability, first in our modern day lives, is that. Let's not lose that. Insist on that. Second, of course, is what else can you get? More greenery, more open space, is what you should look at.
Hmm. Quality eventually.
Yes,
Yeah.
quality that eventually leads to the overall quality of life.
A lot of builders talk about the quality. I think that is also a standard thing that everybody says, right? We deliver quality product. So what is quality again here?
Quality comes from, again, it emanates from the first thing is quality of design.
Hmm.
Okay, for me, that's the most important thing. If there's no quality in design, whatever money can buy, if you put it, you won't get your quality of life.
Hmm.
Okay, that's the first thing I look at it. A quality of design, like I said again, I'll repeat, a design which a great design which will give you a lot of air and ventilation and light. That's the primary thing you should look at.
Hmm.
That's first quality which we should look at. Second is quality of construction.
Hmm.
Quality of construction is what materials. He's already promised some materials. Look at the fine print. Look at what all materials. Right from all the materials. So according to me, the materials which go inside the building, which is unseen to you, are more important than the one which is seen.
Hmm.
So what, for example, the quality of plumbing.
Hmm.
Not just the quality of the pipe you used, the quality or of workmanship is put in to do the plumbing, not the quality of wiring which is put in. Okay, because what functions within the house, remember, is like a working machine.
Hmm.
It works 24 hours.
Hmm.
Whether you know or not, your house is working 24 hours. There's electricity passing through these wires and these walls 24 hours. So plumbing, water is, so these are all working parts. So the working parts in the house should be the best in quality, in terms of workmanship, in terms of the material. I think that's the second thing we should see. Third, of course, are the finishes and the aesthetics. According to me, aesthetics and landscape are very important. Eye pleasing to the eye.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
So it should be pleasing. It should not be. See, you can never define it properly, but it should be the basic. It should be pleasing.
Yeah, food can taste very good, but if it's not,
Exactly.
pleasing to the eye, will not eat it.
Exactly. So ultimately, the ingredients should be good. If the ingredients are great, the food automatically will taste good, however it looks.
Hmm.
However it looks.
Right.
Hmm.
But also, eventually, I think, like you said, it should also look good.
It should look good.
Yeah.
We like to eat when you're eating. If it looks good, you will enjoy it better.
That's true. Yeah.
So the aesthetics, it's part of the whole thing. Your house. You want your house to look good, right?
Yeah.
You want your house to have some nice colors.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
It's part of our whole mental makeup. So it has to be good.
Yeah.
So, but in terms of priority, I think that's what you should.
Mm.
Quality of design, quality of materials, and the last is aesthetics.
Aesthetics. Okay. A lot of young entrepreneurs want to get into real estate, right? They're all aspiring to get into it. What are the steps that they need to take to get into the industry?
Yeah, it's no easy answer to this. Um, See, real estate, it's an unregulated industry. You know,
Mm.
anybody and everybody can get into this business.
Mm.
That's the flip side to this business. So there's no real qualification. But you want to become a software engineer, you need to be at least engineer first.
Mm.
That's the basic is expected of you. So I'm a developer sitting and talking to you for the last so much of time, but I'm not even a civil engineer. But by virtue of my profession, I've become by spending so much of time, we learned so much of engineering.
Yeah.
So I think what my if you any young entrepreneur, if he wants to get into real estate, first thing is you should think like an entrepreneur.
Mm. Mm.
Okay, how does the entrepreneur? You see so much of great startup ideas now, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Look at the passion which the founder gets into it,
Yeah.
the idea which he involves into it, and the way he comes forward with the idea with it. Okay, I think that's my first advice to any developer or any entrepreneur who wants to enter into it like an entrepreneurship,
Got it.
not a money making industry where you can just make a quick buck.
Mm.
Enter with the mindset of an entrepreneur which will come with a great idea. You come into this business thinking that you're getting a better idea than what we already have.
Mm. Mm.
Bring that new thoughts, new technology into this business, what we already don't have.
Got it.
Approach it like any other startup.
Startup. Got it.
Yes. Then you'll do well. Otherwise, if you are entering into it like any other place where I'll just come with some money to invest, do a project and make some good money, then it's already too crowded.
You got it.
It is too crowded. It is too big,
Mm.
and the entry point, unfortunately, is too high now. To enter this business, the investment is very high. So, the second point is I think now market is too mature now.
Got it.
There's no longer individual centric, builder centric business now. It is becoming institutionalized,
Right.
like industries.
Mm.
Okay, so it's so we no longer one person based business now.
Go ahead.
It is too big, too expensive, and too complex for small investors to get in. You have to be an institution to run this business now.
So, in fact, my next question was going to be about this, right? Say, if I have about a crore and a half, or 2 crores, and as an entrepreneur, I want to enter this industry. What are my opportunities, and how viable is it?
See, if you have a crore and a half, 2 crores today, will you think of setting up a cell phone company?
No.
You won't, no?
No.
So that's how you should look at real estate also.
Mm.
It's gone to that level where you can't think of having a crore of rupees and try to become a big developer.
Mm.
That's where it is now, the industry. It is mature to that level.
Mm.
Okay, you need to have more wherewithal or more ability and resources to get into this business. Like that's why I said, now it's getting institutionalized.
Yeah, yeah.
Just individuals can't do this anymore.
Right.
But having said that, just to be an entrepreneur doesn't mean that you have to become a builder yourself. You don't need to set up a company and get a land to build some 50 or 100 apartments to become an entrepreneur in this business. Since the business has grown so big, there's multiple opportunities. If I have a crore of rupees, I would say I will go around the market. I will try to see who all are the developers doing what are projects. I try to get it getting initially at a very low level, low price points, and exit higher, and keep doing that continuously. That itself is a business.
Okay.
You're looking at it as investment. I'm looking at it like a business.
So you're saying buy, resell,
Exactly.
keep that wheel going.
Exactly. Keep that wheel going.
And have enough capital to get into the business.
Exactly.
You're saying.
So
Okay.
how do you do in stocks? I can buy a Reliance stock now. I can't buy Reliance itself. Correct. I can buy 100 stocks of Reliance. I'm a shareholder. I'm part of the business. I'm selling and buying different stocks. Similarly, you can do the real estate also. You keep doing that. And a lot of people do now.
Very interesting.
And a lot of friends come together now. Now they become more ambitious. Now he'll join in few friends more. And he'll get into bigger projects.
Yeah.
He'll go talk to the
But
developer.
I think it's a new trend now, right? Like a couple of friends come together, buy a plot, build it, sell it, and move on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I don't advise you to couple of friends come together, build it and sell it. Then it's becoming a profession.
Mhm.
See, you can actually do your day job, have 1 crore of rupees, 5 friends get together, have 5 crores and keep on rolling your money in different projects.
Mhm.
Keep buying and selling. That itself is a business by itself. And you're not spending full time on it.
Makes sense. Okay. Got
And you're still the entrepreneur.
Hmm.
You're still the entrepreneur.
Right. I mean, although not, like how you would say it, all entrepreneur, but then not in a full-time sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, if you to finally answer your question, if you think you just have 1 crore of rupees and you want to become a builder, not easy.
Okay.
Not easy.
I think this whole conversation has been very interesting because you touch topics that I wouldn't have thought of looking at it that way. And, a little more insights on the history. That was very interesting part for me. And I think for the viewers also, you've given just about how sustainability should look like. And, just the idea of plots and the legal side of it. I think it was very, very insightful. Thank you so much for coming. And it's been a very, very good episode for us.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for hosting me here. It's been very insightful. I mean, it's been a while since I spoke to about the industry myself.
Yeah.
Enjoyed myself. Thank you so much.
Thank you.